happy Thursday. And once again, we are fashionably late. Sorry, it is always a bit of an adventure when we start. Sometimes Facebook cooperates really well, sometimes not quite as well. But here we are, and I hope you are having a wonderful day. We are going to make a tassel today. And of course, it is a tassel in honor of the upcoming Valentine's Day, which of course is going to be here very, very soon. So here is my tassel, and it's attached to, oh, help me out, Tony.
Swivel clasp.
A swivel clasp. Why do I never remember the word swivel? I don't know. So, in any case, it's attached to a swivel clasp, which means that we can easily clip it onto just about anything. Your favorite necklace that you happen to be wearing on Valentine's Day, or you can clip it to your purse, your hoodie, just about anything. And this way, you are not committing to making an entire piece of jewelry just for Valentine's Day, but this can be a part of literally anything with any sort of a small loop, any kind of a little opening. For example, while we are saying hello, I think I'm just going to put this on my necklace so that you can see.
Fonda says, good evening, everyone. Happy Thursday.
Hi, Fonda. Thank you so much, my friend, and happy Thursday to you.
Angela says, good evening.
Hi, Angela. Good evening.
Jolene says, hello.
Hello, Jolene. So this is a necklace, ladies, that I just happen to be wearing today. And look how fun it looks next to my little silver pod. So it will just look so fun next to anything. It's kind of a little boho. It'll give you some color. But most of all, it will make you feel festive.
Lonnie says, good afternoon here. Glad I made it.
Hi, Lonnie. I'm so glad you joined us and so glad you made it as well.
Allie says, so pretty.
Thank you so much, Ellie. So glad you're here.
Joan says, good evening, everyone.
Hi, Joan, and good evening to you. Well, I hope it's starting to warm up wherever you guys are. It's warmed up a little bit here in Wisconsin. Not a whole lot, but at least it's a little better than last week. And here is my alternate colorway. I'm just going to show it to you right away. And this, of course, is in anticipation of St. Patty's. So same idea. We have a tassel and, of course, our Be My Valentine tassel celebrates Valentine's Day. And Luck of the Irish celebrates St. Patty's. You can wear it while you drink your green beer. So here we go. And I thought that it would be fun to have a pair of earrings for each holiday as well. Even though it feels like St. Patty's, it's still such a long time before St. Patty's, but not really. It's going to be here in a very short 2 months. And I will not be doing these project videos for a couple of weeks because we're going to Tucson next Tuesday. So we'll be skipping 2 weeks, but I'll talk a little bit about that later.
Ellen says, hi, Irina and everyone.
Hi, Ellen, and thanks for joining us.
Yolanda says, hello, Irina, Tony, and all.
Hello, Yolanda. Okay, ladies, so what do you think? I think we're ready to get started, shall we? We're all here, and if somebody else wants to join us, fantastic. And so I will be demonstrating well, actually, you know what? I'm going to start with earrings. I think that's going to be, it's just like our little warm-up. And so really, all these projects are just about making lots and lots and lots of wrapped loops. I think I'll start with the simplest of all the projects that I'm showing today. And that is going to be the St. Patty's pair of earrings, or Luck of the Irish pair of earrings. And so I just wanted something fun and, of course, just a little bit Celtic. And I incorporated several shades of green, which I think really complement the Celtic knots, and we have a little floral flair. So let's make an earring.
Ellen says, I love the green.
Thank you so much, Helen. Okay, ladies, so this is literally as simple as it gets. All we're going to do is just stack some beads on our ball pin. And this is just a little bit curved, so maybe I'm going to straighten it just with my flat nose pliers. Okay, so much better. And so we are starting with a little 4mm Swarovski bicone. And that is going to be right kind of cradled inside of our little green, Kelly green flower. And then we have a square dowel. And the square dowel is in emerald. So we have several different shades, and we'll finish it with a little aeronite, again 4mm round faceted Swarovski bead. And so this is just going to be a little review of how to make a loop. So this is going to be a wrapped loop, so I left just a little bit of space between that top bead and my 90-degree angle, and I'm going to use my bail making pliers, the small side of the bail making pliers, to make the loop. And I always stop when I get to about this point where the loop looks like a little question mark. And you do not have to take the tool out. I am only doing that so that you can see where I am in the loop process. And in the meantime, I'll put my pliers right back in, cross the wire over, and continue with my loop until it's nice and centered. Let's see, I'm pretty sure it's centered, maybe just a tiny bit more to my left, just like that. And now it should really be centered. So it's just going to look like a little guy with a little scarf waving in the wind. And at this point, we are ready to connect our loop to the Celtic component, just like that. And hold on to the loop with your chain nose pliers.
Lori says, good evening, Irina and Tony.
Hi, Lori. Good evening, and thank you for joining us today. Okay, ladies, so just like that, just by hand, we are wrapping that wrapped loop. And you might be able to get 2 little coils or 3 little coils, whatever works to fill that little space in between the bead and the loop. And of course, once we cut off our excess wire, we're going to use our chain nose pliers and just pinch that end in. And we're just about done. All we need at this point is an ear wire. And I simply opened the loop at the bottom of the ear wire, slide the Celtic component right in, and close the loop with your chain nose pliers. And we have an earring. How fun is that? So, not very difficult at all. If you're familiar with making wrapped loops, this is like butter. And if you're still practicing your wrapped loops, this is a very satisfying one. All you have to do is accomplish one nice wrapped loop and you're done. Okay, ladies, and now we're going to make one of the Valentine's Day earrings, or Be My Valentine earrings. And here are the makings for that.
Yolanda says very cute and easy.
Thank you so much, Yolanda. So, oh, you know what? And I just noticed that, oh, no, I thought I was missing something, but I'm actually not. Which actually brings me to the next point. It's very, very easy to lose that little 3mm bead. It's a crystal cal bead, which means it's silver, and it's very important to this design. So we are going to start by stringing our frame onto the ball pin. So just start by stringing just the bottom of the frame onto the ball pin. And then we are going to string that little 3mm bead. So the reason I really like using that 3mm bead is because it's just enough to keep the 6mm light cyan bead, the red bead, in place. So it just kind of makes it look like it's floating. So now that we have our two beads on here, we will simply go through the top loop in the earring. And again, we are just going to want to make a 90-degree angle. And that is because we are making another wrapped loop. So as I said, this is just all about making wrapped loops. And I like making wrapped loops. It's kind of my happy place. Okay, and again, we're always going to go in the direction that is opposite to the bend of the wire. And we start with a 90-degree angle, and we end with a 90-degree angle like this before we start wrapping. So it's always just wrap into that little space. But with this design, I actually really like the idea of an organic loop. So I just wrapped my wire into the little space between the loop and the frame. And now I'm going to go in the opposite direction and build up that wrap and make it a little bit organic. So making it organic, not only does that mean that we're going to have a slightly messy loop, very much intended, but also it means that we're making a heavier wrap, which I think for this particular pair of earrings, it's kind of nice because it's a slightly larger opening in the frame, and an organic wrap will just hold it in place that much better. So there's our little wrap component. And for this pair of earrings, we need just a little extra to go with it. So I'm going to use 22 gauge wire, and we're going to make another wrapped loop yet. So I'm starting my wrap loop again by making a 90-degree angle.
Yolanda says pretty.
Thank you so much, Yolanda.
Barb says I'm late. Good evening, everyone.
Hi, Barb. Good evening, and thank you for joining us. Okay, ladies, so there is my loop. So do you see those fairly crisp angles? So those angles are most definitely our friends. They're going to make certain that our coiling is nice and snug. The closer your wires are to a 90-degree angle, the easier it is to make that snug little coil. And then, of course, we always trim the wire so that we're as close as possible, and then pinch that little end in. And now we have a crystal clear Swarovski bead, and then a rondelle in cyan or light cyan color, very iconic color for our Valentine's Day projects.
Karen says, good evening. I arrived late, been watching the tutorial. I love these.
Thank you so much, Karen. Well, stick around because it will only get even more exciting from here on. All right, ladies. So now I'm going to make another wrapped loop, and I'm starting my loop, and I'm being kind of deliberate about how I am angling my wire. So I want this next loop to actually be perpendicular to the first loop. And this is so that my earrings hang correctly. And so now we're just going to make another loop.
Lori is wondering what size are the rondelles.
Oh, thank you for asking, Lori. The rondelles are 6 millimeters. So I'm using small bail making pliers, and you saw how perfectly they make these loops. They're so not only are they completely round and beautifully shaped, but they're also so very, very consistent with one another. So people often ask me how I make these very consistent loops, and this is the secret, ladies. Okay, so the reason I was saying that this top loop should be perpendicular to the bottom loop in the same component is because now all I have to do is simply open the ear wire and connect it, and now everything is going to hang correctly. If we did not plan out our loop in this way, we would have to tweak something, either change the positioning of the loop or maybe use an additional jump ring. But this way, as you can see, it's exactly as it should be.
Lori says thank you.
My pleasure, Lori. Thank you for asking. Okay, ladies, so that was our warm-up. And now that we have made the earrings, we are going to start working on the tassel. So the tassel is kind of a little bit eclectic. There are so many different components in the tassel, and I'm just doing a little house cleaning before we start. And the reason I decided to do the demo with the Luck of the Irish tassel as opposed to Be My Valentine tassel is because the Valentine's Day tassel is very straightforward. Pretty much you see every bead, you see every component, and you can replicate it just from the picture. So, and it's really constructed very much in the same way as the Luck of the Irish tassel. However, In the Luck of the Irish Tassel, there's some little hidden beads, which you can't see just by looking at the picture, which is why that is my choice of the demo piece.
Debbie says, hey everyone.
Hi, Debbie, and thanks for joining us.
Ellen says, I apologize. What does perpendicular mean? Is the loop 90 degrees?
Yes, exactly. So perpendicular means that it's a 90-degree angle. Thank you for asking. Okay, ladies, so I am just putting all my little components on my workspace, and we'll start from the bottom up. And I have this pretty awesome drop, and I love the shape of this drop. Something about this drop is just so cute. So it's like a very chunky little drop. It's not quite a round. And so I'm just going to string my drop onto a head pin. And this is what it looks like. And let's make another wrapped loop. So when I make wrapped loops, I always use my chain nose pliers to bend the wire. And it's always a good thing to start with a nice 90-degree angle. And once you have that angle, you start maybe 4-6 millimeters from the bend, and you just go in the opposite direction of the bend. So I do half a loop. Once you've made half a loop, it's just very easy to guide the wire and make the second half of the loop. So it should look like that. And again, we will use the chain nose pliers. This time we're just holding on with the chain nose pliers. I line up my chain nose pliers so that it's really lined up with the end of the wire. So this is going to make it very, very easy for you to wrap the wire into that little space. And sometimes I use my chain nose pliers to just kind of gently guide the wire. But whatever you do, don't force it, because especially working with glass beads, if you force it a little bit too much, it's just very easy to break the bead.
Ellen says, thank you.
Oh, my pleasure, Ellen.
And Barb says, are both of these kits in the Etsy shop? I just made my unchained bracelet today and it turned out beautifully.
Oh, yay! I'm so glad that you love your bracelet. And yes, they're definitely in the Etsy shop. You will find them in as featured on Facebook section. And so now I'm starting the second loop, and as usual, we're just guiding our wire. And so there are no jump rings in this project. We're just connecting everything via the wrapped loops. So while I'm making the next wrap loop, I do want to tell you something kind of important. So some of you may have noticed that we changed our website, and that kind of led to a little bit of a domino effect. So our website is connected to our email, and so we noticed that when we were sending out the email, a lot of people were not getting the email. It was going straight to their spam folder. So if you did not get the email, please look at your spam folder. And if you can please mark it as not spam, then next time it will not go to your spam folder. The other thing is, some of you may have gotten the email twice, and it's not our intention to start sending it out twice. It's just kind of a little bit of like growing pains because we switched the websites, and then we had to do a little song and dance with the email newsletter. So if you want to continue to receive the email newsletter, please just take a look in your spam folder, mark it as not spam, and then you will continue to get it on Wednesdays. And we only send it out on Wednesdays.
Lonnie is wondering what gauge wire you are using.
Thank you for asking, Lonnie. It is 22 gauge wire, and it is half hard as opposed to dead soft. Okay, ladies, so now we are going to string a few beads, and even though, so let me show you, even though you may not exactly see the full bead that's at the bottom here, but it's kind of important to string that on here after the drop. So this is going to be the second link from the bottom. So I have my 5mm Air Knights Swarovski bicone, which you will get 2 of in your kit. And so the first one goes right here as part of the second link. And right after that, we are going to string the beautiful enameled flower. So the Swarovski bicone is just kind of holding it in place and centering it at this end. So now we need to jump through some hoops in order for this to hang correctly. And as you can see, there's a nice large hole. And for some projects, a large hole is fantastic. But for this one, it's not something we actually need. And in fact, if we were just going to just let it be, nothing is really going to hang correctly, because you see how the wire is just kind of going back and forth. So in order to affix this in place, we are going to fill that space. So there's an empty space inside this flower between the bottom of the flower where we have the bicone and the top of the flower where we have that nice large opening. We are going to fill that entire space with 11O seed beads. So these are those 11O seed beads that I use so much. They're absolutely wonderful because they have such a large opening. They're hollow inside, and we're just going to push them right into that opening. And now they don't want to go in. Okay, so some of these flowers have a slightly larger opening, some have a slightly smaller one. No worries. So what we can do is just string all 7 beads right onto the wire and then put our flower on. So you should be able to see the top of that last bead.
Lori says, can I purchase these little beads you're using to fill the space?
Yes, you can. I believe we have them in the Etsy shop.
I think we do.
Yeah, just look under seed beads. Absolutely.
I could box.
Oh, I'm so glad I said something, and thank you for saying something, Fonda. So yes, please, ladies, look in your spam box, and if you have the Eclectica email in that, if you just mark it as not spam, then everything will go back to normal.
And the one that goes out next week should be all good to go.
Yay! Okay, guys, so again, you should be able to see that last bead right at the top, right there, through the hole. And now everything is going to go as usual. We're just stringing more beads. So right on top of my flower bead, I put another one of those square dells. It's the same square dell I just used to make the earrings. Where's the, here, I'll show you one of the earrings. So the same little square dell. And now we're going to make another wrapped loop. Oh, so square dell and then another 5mm Air Knight.
Fonda says, I love these little flower beads.
Oh, thank you so much, Fonda. I know, I love them too. I just think they're so whimsical. And they're also kind of very, they really remind me of Art Nouveau jewelry. There's a lot of enameling and colors like this and shapes like this as well in Art Nouveau jewelry.
Oh no, Allie says it keeps freezing. She's going to watch the replay tomorrow. Facebook isn't being cooperative.
Oh no, Ellie, I'm so sorry.
Hopefully it's not freezing for anyone else.
Yeah, please let us know if you can see me okay. And Allie, I know you're going to rewatch tomorrow, but something I just remembered that I definitely want to say is whether you watch us tomorrow or today, so this is actually our last pre-Tucson video. And so this is my
project video.
Yes, this is the last pre-Tucson project video and last pre-Tucson video from our studio here in Wisconsin. And so after this video, well, oh gosh, no, wait a minute. No, we still have tomorrow. I don't know. So yes, it's definitely not our last video pre-Tucson. We will have a video tomorrow. In the meantime, I'm going to start making that next wrapped loop.
Lonnie says it's only frozen for me once, and Ellen says good video today, not freezing up.
Oh, yay. I'm glad that it's not freezing up for, it sounds like most people are okay. And Ellie, I'm sorry, I guess, I don't know, sometimes we just cannot control it. So hopefully you rewatch it tomorrow. And so where was I? So this is our last project video pre-Tucson. And our next project video is going to be Thursday, February 8th. So we are going to be skipping 2 weeks because we are going to be at the Tucson show looking for all sorts of awesome treasures to bring back to the store. And now I'm stringing a 6mm Swarovski bicone bead. So that's our third link. And we will finish that with another wrapped loop. And while we're in Tucson, it is our plan to do a little preview video. It's kind of a tradition at this point that we do a preview video of some of our favorite pieces that we found in Tucson. So please be sure to RSVP to the events 2 weeks from now. So that's like, wait, is it 2 weeks from now? Or it could actually be 3 weeks from now. So I'm talking about the events that are already listed on the 8th and the 9th, because there's going to be kind of a longish break. Okay, so I'm going to start on the next wrap loop. And this one is going to be, so let's just find our spot, shall we? So this one is going to be our last wrapped loop in this strand. So here, I'm just separating this strand, and this is a little butterfly. And so I actually have these little Swarovski butterflies, both in the red tassel and the green tassel. So here are my little butterflies just kind of fluttering about.
Yolanda says it's fine on my end. Maybe her settings need to be changed.
Perhaps, I don't know, Ellie. And have you tried rebooting?
Teresa says, I was looking at those flower beads last night in the store. I love that green and blue color together.
Oh, thank you so much. Yeah, I know. I love these too. It's just, It's so fresh looking, and at the same time, it's so elegant.
Katie says those enamel flowers are so pretty.
Thank you so much, Katie. Okay, ladies, so starting our last loop of the strand, and because this little butterfly, the shape of the butterfly is such that there's like a little kind of a V shape at the bottom and a little V shape at the top. So we are going to use a teeny tiny little seed bead, and these are 15O seed beads. So we're going to use a 15O at the bottom and at the top. So they're going to kind of frame the butterfly, and at the same time, they're going to make it a lot easier to make the wrapped loop at the top. Can you guys see that?
I think so.
Yep. Okay, so let's start the next loop. And okay, so back to what I was saying. So we are going to do a video, probably just one, and it's going to be a preview video from Tucson. So unfortunately, we can't exactly plan it. When we're in Tucson, it has to be a little fluid because we have so many different things to do. But we always try to let you know at least a few hours, if not the day before. So please watch your email. If you want to see the Tucson preview, just, I'm sorry, not your email. I misspoke actually. We're not going to let you know via the email because the email is only sent out once a week. However, we will let you know on Facebook. So if you have your Facebook notifications letting you know when we post, we will try to give you as much of a heads up as we possibly can. So in the meantime, as I was making this loop, this top loop, I also connected my chain right into the loop, and then I wrapped the loop. So now we have a little bit of a chain connected, and so I did the same exact thing in both tassels. So I just want you to know that the construction is very much the same. And except for those invisible seed beads that are inside of the flower in the green tassel, it's really very much the same construction, slightly different beads, but there's a little bit of chain at the top here. And you can make it a little longer, or you can make it a little shorter. That is going to be up to you. So, we have just made that central, the longest strand of our tassel. And of course, through the magic of Facebook Live, I already have the other two strands that are made. And even though we're not doing this in the video, but I have all sorts of confidence in you guys that you can just look at the picture and see exactly which beads I used. And frankly, if you wanted to mix them up and do it differently, that would be just fine as well. And so when you just wanted to let you know, when you get the heart kit, there's only going to be one size of seed beads, and that's going to be the 15 O's to go with the butterflies. So with the heart kit, you're not getting any 11 O seed beads because there's no need for them. Okay, ladies, and moving right along, now we're going to finish making the tassel.
Debbie says beautiful.
Thank you so much, Debbie. So we have this 4-leaf clover. Is that the same as a shamrock? You know, I think it is. 4-leaf clover is a shamrock, correct?
I think so.
Yeah, I think so too. Okay, so we have this 4-leaf clover, and it's kind of greenish on one side, and it's kind of like greenish, yellowish, purplish on the other side. It's kind of I don't know what does that look like. It kind of looks a little bit like medium vitriol, but on this side it's nice and green. And so we are going to start making one more loop, always starting with a 90-degree angle, and I'm using the larger side of my bail making pliers because I'm going to use this loop to gather all of my little strands. Also at this time, what I did with the chain. So for this kit, the green tassel kit, you get 2 inches of chain. And so you can make it a little shorter. I made it shorter for the heart kit. So you can see how everything hangs, and if you like it just as it is, just leave it. But if not, let's say, for example, if I thought that the middle one is a little bit too long. Do you guys think it's a little too long? Maybe it's a little too long. What do you think?
Yolanda says, oh, that's pretty.
Oh, thank you so much, Yolanda. So I don't know. Let's ponder this just for a second. Maybe the middle one is just a little too long. So it's not too late. We can still make it just a little shorter. And you know, as long as we realize that we want to make it a little shorter before we wrap the loop, it's all good. Okay, so now let's see what it looks like. So what I did is I just I cut the chain into 3 fairly similar length segments, and so now you get a chance to tweak, you know, and make it the way you want it. So yeah, I think I like it better when it's a little shorter. So let's make it permanent and wrap the loop.
Lonnie says, yes, a little long, and Yolanda says, no, not too long.
Oh, thank you. And you know, again, on a different day, I would probably feel differently. You know, you're never the same person on any given day. So you know, one day you would make it one way, and a different day, you know, you just feel like making it slightly differently. Okay, so now I'm going to string my 3mm bicones. These are Swarovski bicones in crystal cal. And so now we're going to string our shamrock onto our wire and one more bicone. So this is what I have. And again, because there's like a slight V at each of the petals, it just makes it so much easier to use those little bicones, so you don't have to wrap into something that's like a convex opening, or concave rather, opening. And so now we're just going to make another loop on the other side of the 4-leaf clover.
Fonda says, looks perfect now.
Oh, thank you so much, Fonda. And so now when we make this loop, we are going to connect to our swivel clasp. And this is going to be our very last wrapped loop. So just make it nice and snug and wrap into that opening. And now I'm just going to cut off the excess wire, pinch the end of my wire a little bit so it doesn't poke out, and our tassel is done. And now we can We can put it on a necklace. We can put it on a zipper. If I had a zipper in my hoodie today, I would do that, but I don't have a zipper. So pretty much clip it to anything, whatever you can think of. Maybe it's something in your house. Maybe it's a piece of clothing. Maybe it's your purse. Obviously, you can clip it to a piece of jewelry. And I'm going to put it down so that we can see everything we made today. Well, we didn't exactly make the heart tassel today, but it's made exactly the same way. So in the meantime, I'm just going to think about, did I miss anything about the timing? You know, I usually try to give you a little bit of a preview of what's coming up. So tomorrow, of course, we have our Friday video shopping event coming up, and it's an exciting one. I have some really fun things for tomorrow's shopping event. Oh, and you know what? Okay, I just remembered. So on my desk here, once I lay everything out, I will show you what I have on my desk.
Yolanda says yes, it's very versatile.
Thank you so much, Yolanda.
Connie says both are beautiful and sends a heart.
Oh, thank you so much, Connie. I am sending a heart right back to you in my heart. Okay, guys, so this is what we made. And I'm going to show you something that we made a few years ago. And actually, I wonder, does anybody remember this? Did anybody make these heart sun catchers? So obviously, this is also a Valentine's Day project from a couple of years ago. And lately, everybody has been asking me to restock these because, you know, we have these hanging in the store. So many of you have seen these in the store, and all of a sudden everybody just wants them. So we made another batch, and I'm just laying everything out right here. And I'll show you what the kit looks like. Do you guys remember the kit at all? So I'm not making another video because I already have a video that shows you exactly how to create this kit. So it comes with a whole bunch of wire. And so inside, what you will find is not only a lot of wire in various gauges, but you will also find a guideline. You know what? I should just open this. I'm going to open this and show you what you're going to find inside.
Yolanda says, I still love those sun catchers. I made the Easter egg.
Oh, yay! Thank you so much, Yolanda. Yeah, I went through like a whole series of so many different shapes in sun catchers. So this is what we did. We gave you a guideline. So right next to each one of the heart shapes, there's a guideline as to how much wire I used for each one. And you have the actual real life size and shape of each one. So this is a template. So please use it as a template. And obviously there's a video to go with it, and it shows you exactly how to use it as a template and how to make these hearts. And frankly, you have enough wire for a lot more than 4. I'm going to say at least 6 hearts. And it's however you want to interpret them. You can either embellish like I did, or you can embellish a different heart. You can use your own beads. You can use the beads that are included in the kit. And actually, now that I look at the kit, it does say that it makes up to 6 hearts. I don't know why I'm putting this inside. I don't know. But it's actually much more than that. It's more likely that you will make more than 6 hearts. So anyway, that is what's new.
Fonda says, I made the flowers too.
Oh, yay, that's awesome.
Katie says, I made several of the hearts for gifts and one for our home. Love them.
Oh, thank you so much, ladies, for sharing that.
Fonda says, I remember this project. This was fun to make.
Awesome, thank you.
Katie says, I made the Easter eggs too. So pretty.
Oh, thank you so much. You know, I kind of want to make another sun catcher kit at some point, maybe sometime this spring. So can you guys think of what we should make? Some type of a simple shape, like eggs or flowers. I don't know. Let me know if you think of something that would be really fun to make as a sun catcher. Just let me know your thoughts.
Karen says, this is a fun project.
Thank you so much, Karen. Okay, guys, so did we cover everything? So we talked about the emails. Again, take a quick look at your spam folder. If our email is in it, just mark it as not spam, please, so that you can keep receiving our emails. We think we fixed it, so hopefully we did. And then, of course, we talked about how there's no video next week except possibly from Tucson. So we will be in Tucson as of this coming Tuesday, and we'll be there about 9 days or so. And we are looking forward to finding new treasures. So follow our Facebook page so that you can see when the Tucson preview video is.
Katie says, oh, and the shamrocks, I made 3 of the 4 of those for gifts.
Oh, yay, that's awesome. You know, the shamrocks, that was actually one of my favorite sun catchers in the Copper Suncatcher series.
Maya has a neat idea, if it's possible.
Oh, please do, yeah.
A Hamsa suncatcher.
Ooh, a Hamsa. Well, I love Hamsas. I wear them all the time. I would love to work on one, but how many people want to make a Hamsa suncatcher? I wonder if it's a bit too nichey, so let me know. Does that sound like a super fun idea? I would love to hear from you. Like, who would want to make the Hamsa? I mean, I would, but, you know, who else would want to make the Hamsa?
Let us know in the comments and we'll check back.
Yes, please do. We do look at the comments. Okay, guys, so in the meantime, we have one more video before we go to Tucson, and that is going to be tomorrow. So I hope you join me tomorrow for the shopping event at 9 o'clock Central Standard Time. And this, of course, is going to be on the Eclectica Facebook page. So again, this is tomorrow, 9 o'clock Central Standard Time. And this is the shopping event, and I have lots of really fun surprises for you. And the next video is going to be from Tucson, so stay tuned.
Katie says, I'd love to make a Hamsa suncatcher.
Oh, yay! I would love to design a Hamsa suncatcher. I have lots of Hamsa ideas. I have Hamsas all over my house, so that will be such a fun thing to do sometime this spring. So of course, once we come back from Tucson, I know that we'll have a lot of projects that are very much Tucson inspired, as we always do. So I'm sure it'll be lots of great surprises.
Lonnie is wondering what a Hamsa is.
Oh, a Hamsa, you might know it as a hand of God. You know, the hand that normally is stylized so that it's symmetrical. And it's usually very ornate. It's present in a lot of different cultures, and it's a very positive symbol. It's a symbol of protection. It's a symbol of femininity. So I don't know. It's just a great symbol. So we'll be making it.
Connie says a hamsa sounds like fun.
Yay! Thank you so much, Connie.
And
We're doing it.
Katie says, enjoy your time away. I'm looking forward to new inspiration that comes from your travels.
Thank you so much, Katie. And thank you so much, everybody. Please join me tomorrow for the shopping event. And in the meantime, have a wonderful and creative evening.